All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to step back in time, way back, over 170 years, to uncover this incredible love story. It's pieced together from old, forgotten records, and it's a journey into a world where, let me tell you, romance followed a completely different set of rules.
I mean, think about it. How did people even fall in love before dating apps and text messages? It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, right? In our world of swiping right and instant connections. But that's what's so cool about this story. It gives us this really rare, really intimate glimpse into how it all worked back then.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The year is 1852. The season is spring. And we're in this small, super close-knit town called Northborough, Massachusetts. You know the kind of place I'm talking about, where everybody knows everybody's business. So when a newcomer shows up, you better believe it doesn't go unnoticed. And that's exactly what happens. A young man arrives, and he's hoping to build a real future for himself.
So let's meet our main characters. First, we've got Edward Hildreth. He's 21 years old, a comb maker by trade, and he's the new guy in town, really eager to get his business going. And then we have Sophia Newton. She's only 17, and she lives at home with her mother, who's actually been widowed twice. Now, for both of them, the stakes were just incredibly high. For Edward, it wasn't just about his job, it was about proving he was a respectable guy. And for Sophia, well, her entire future pretty much depended on making a good marriage.
Now here's a detail that might seem small, but it was absolutely crucial back then. Edward was boarding with his brother's family. And this wasn't just about, having a roof over his head. No, this arrangement was a signal to the entire town that he was a stable, responsible man. And that was essential, not just for his career, but for any romantic prospects he might have had. And get this, their whole romance from start to finish unfolds over the course of just 1 year, 1852. So we're going to follow them right through the seasons, from the moment they meet in the spring all the way to their wedding in the winter. It's just this perfectly contained story.
All right, so spring turns into summer, and you can feel a connection starting to form between them. But I gotta stress, this was not modern dating, not even close. They were entering what was called a courtship, and that was a highly structured, very public, and super serious process. Seriously, can you even imagine a romance with pretty much zero privacy? I mean, every single interaction was carefully managed and watched by the public. Edward couldn't just walk up and ask Sophia out for a coffee. No way. He had to be patient, he had to be creative, and he had to find these socially acceptable ways to even talk to her. We're talking about things like timing his walks to accidentally run into her, or maybe lingering a little bit after church. And this just perfectly lays out the formal steps they had to go through. So it all starts with just seeing each other in public, at church, community events. Then it escalates to a formal visit to Sophia's parlor, and you can bet her mom was sitting right there the whole time. Any outings, like a walk or a picnic, always chaperoned. And here's the kicker. The entire relationship hinged on getting her mom's approval. She would have been carefully vetting Edward's character, his job, everything. Okay, so fast forward to autumn. By now, things are getting pretty serious. Edward has passed all the tests, he's proven himself, and the relationship is officially ready to move to the next stage, a formal engagement.
But an engagement back then wasn't just some romantic promise. Oh no, it was a very practical preparation for building a life together. So Edward formally asks Sophia's mom for her hand in marriage. And then the real work starts. Sophia and her mother begin putting together a trousseau. That's all the linens and household goods a bride was expected to bring into the marriage. And at the same time, Edward is laser-focused on saving up money to prove he could be a reliable provider for his new family. And right here, this is really the emotional heart of their whole story. This is the advice that Sophia's mother gives her. And you have to remember, this is a woman who had already lost 2 husbands. She knew better than anyone that marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's a partnership for weathering all the storms that life is inevitably going to throw at you.
Which brings us to winter. It's the end of their year-long journey. And on Christmas Day, of all days, in 1852, Edward and Sophia are finally ready to get married.
Now, whatever image you have in your head of a big, lavish wedding, just forget it. Their ceremony was simple, it was modest. Sophia probably just wore her best dress, not some crazy, elaborate gown. There were likely only a few family and friends there to witness it. The focus was 100% on the commitment they were making to each other. That's it.
And look at this. Here it is, the official record, the piece of paper that grounds their whole romance in historical fact. You can see their ages, Edward's job as a comb maker, and that exact date, December 25th, 1852.
It's amazing to think that this one small document is the anchor for their entire story.
But you know, the wedding is never the end of the story, is it? It's really just the beginning. So what happened after they said I do? Let's take a look at the life they built together.
So their very first step, as a married couple, was a super practical one. They moved in with Sophia's mother. And really, this made perfect sense for everyone involved. For Edward, it was economical. For Sophia, she had her mom right there for support as a new wife. And, of course, it meant her mom wouldn't be left all alone. It was just this mutually beneficial, multi-generational household.
And their life together really did span the decades. And it was filled with so much joy, but also with profound sorrow. They had a daughter, Hattie, and later on a son named Clarence. But then they faced just the most devastating heartbreak. They lost Clarence when he was only 4 years old. This was the reality. These were the hardships that Sophia's mother had warned her about. And it was a true test of the partnership they had built.
But through it all, through all the celebrations and all the sorrows, their partnership held strong. That marriage, the one that began on that quiet Christmas morning back in 1852, it lasted for 47 years. It only ended when Edward passed away in 1899.
So, what can we take away from all this? Edward and Sophia's romance. It's not just some cute, quaint story from history. It was a real commitment, built on things like patience, community approval, and just sober practicality. It kind of makes you think, doesn't it? That maybe the real foundations of a lasting partnership haven't really changed all that much. And in our crazy, fast-paced world, that's a pretty powerful lesson from a love that was truly built to last a lifetime.